Hello, my name is Joy Robinson. These lectures are about technical communication, and this series of lectures covers the rhetorical situation. This lecture is about situational factors: culture, community, and context. There are three situational factors. Context, which is the situation in which something happens, and it dictates how something is going to be used. The community, which essentially is a unified body of individuals linked by some common policy. And the culture, which are the beliefs and customs that are ingrained in a particular society or group. And we'll see how these things operate in a work context. The situation is affected by the background and understanding of the audience. It helps us to figure out how much level of detail each audience member may require. The context is based on the situation. And then sometimes it generates the need for writing. It determines how something will be used. Let's say you create a report. Are the operators going to constantly refer to the data in the report in order to do something at work? Will they need that particular report to have a spiral binding so they can open it flat and lay it on a table? Or do they need it generated on the web so that they can access it while using the computer? Or is your supervisor going to make some decisions based on this report? The context helps to determine how this item will be used. There's often more than one context, and that stands to reason because it may be more than one audience member. Some examples might be a report that you might generate that might spur the president of your company to action. Perhaps you generated another report that people will just file for reference. Or you wrote some type of a white paper from your department that will help to influence other opinions in your company. Or simply some comments in a code. The idea of context is how your communication will be used in that specific instance. A community establishes a tacit or explicit set of rules to follow. It's a group of people working together with the same sets of characteristics. It could be a department. It could be an organizational unit. It could be a simple office. It's a team at work. And each business unit might have different communities. All organizations build communities. And what happens is through this tacit and explicit set of rules, we learn to figure out when things are appropriate, when to send email versus face-to-face meetings, when to recycle or not, and how to file reports. Through our community and the rules that are laid out, we understand how to navigate that community. Culture is a tacit set of behaviors and then those responses. It's based on the beliefs and customs. People have culture, and then that culture carries over into the communities. It may affect things like timeliness for meetings. Certain cultures have different concepts of how time works. For example, if you're running late 5 minutes, you would need to notify someone. However, in other cultures, if you're running late more than 30 minutes, you might not need to call ahead. Different concepts of personal space. The space in which people feel surrounds themselves may be violated depending on the different types of concepts of how close people can stand to each other. Appropriate dress. Even in the United States, the West Coast has a much more relaxed way of dressing than, say, does the East Coast. And certain industries have certain levels of dress code that are ingrained in that business culture. Even the way we greet each other may be related to cultural expectations. So in conclusion, these situational factors influence communication in a number of different ways, most important of which is the level of detail that we need to provide to those particular audience members. In conclusion, the rhetorical situation has a series of parts in order to shape effective communication. We've taken time to cover each of these areas, with the situational factors being the last piece of the puzzle that builds us effective communication. Thanks for listening.